Welcome in, guys. Welcome. How's everybody doing? Joshua, thank you, Joshua. Much appreciated, Joshua. Very kind of you. Welcome in. Joshua G. James the Builder. Yes, hit the like button already, guys, if you guys can. Welcome in, everybody. How is everybody doing? Did everybody have a nice, relaxing 3-day weekend? A little 3-day weekend, July 4th action if you guys are in the US. Good afternoon from Germany. Yes, welcome in. Welcome in, Mila. Welcome, welcome. All your fingers are intact. Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully everyone still has their hands. No fireworks gone bad. Jonathan, thank you, Jonathan. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. We have a lot to go over today, guys. It's a new week. We have new levels. A lot going on, right? And this is going to be an interesting week. This is our first big week in a while. I feel like we've had a lot of data. We've had a lot of earnings reports and short weeks. This is one of the first weeks in a while where we just have pure price action. Okay, not much data, not much earnings reports to talk about. It's just pure price action. I think that's always a good thing to see, right? So no fireworks today, no fireworks this week. You do have some data, but it's not going to be the big stuff. Fancy, yep, absolutely, thank you, and I will go over MSTR, absolutely. So, a few things I want to discuss with you guys today. This is what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about the curling on SPY and ES in the pre-market session. Particularly, we're going to talk about the hold of the 6280 level on the ES chart. This is a very big level. We're going to talk about it going forward. We're going to talk about SPY, and we're going to go over SPY in the eyes of these two levels. Okay, 620.5, the Wednesday's highs. And we're also going to talk about the 619 level, very big level. Okay, so we have two big levels. We're going to talk about the breakout level, 619. We're going to talk about 620.5. We're going to discuss this little gap of price action between the Wednesday's highs of 620.5 and 619. And we are also going to go over the Qs, of course, as well. We'll talk about the QQQ. Levels on Qs are very simple. It's actually just simply 552.50, the breakout level high, and also, which is a major hourly pivot. And we're also going to talk about that's a June high, rather. June high is 552.50, which is the level we're going to discuss. And we're also going to talk with the all-time highs here at 557. We are just there. We're very close to all-time highs here in Qs. And we already pushed a new all-time highs on Thursday's session right before our 3-day weekend. What happened on Friday, or Thursday rather, was simply just lockout rally, right? So remember, Rav and I were on the webinar talking about what was going to happen in the market. And one of the scenarios, the most likely scenario being, was the lockout rally. Lockout rallies are difficult to catch, but they're easy to spot. The reason why I say they're easy to spot is when the market is approaching a big holiday and there's low volume, market will tend to stay in trend all day. So if we start an uptrend off the open, it just goes like this, right? And it doesn't really yield many entries. It just goes higher. There's no real deep pullbacks to get long entries. It just sort of rips higher and pushes new highs. And that's why it's called a lockout rally. Okay, so that's what happened on Thursday. Now going into today's session, obviously we have some pullback opportunities, and we're going to discuss that today. So we're going to talk about the main pullback opportunity that I'm watching is going to be Amazon. So I know many of you guys don't like Amazon. I know you don't. I do like Amazon. Amazon, I just know how it trades. It won't give you a 100% winner, but it will give you trades. So yesterday's, or rather Thursday's session was all about 221.50. We'll talk about this level today, big level today. We're going to talk about Tesla downside, right back into major demand. Tesla is absolutely dead, right? A dead fish in the water. We're going to talk about Apple 214, major level here in Apple 214. I may even make an adjustment here to 215. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to go over Meta. We'll go over Microsoft. We'll go over AMD. We'll go over the whole lot this morning, okay? So before I do anything though, guys, I want to talk about two things. The first thing being obviously economic data. Today's session, we don't really have any data to worry about, right? Remember I said this week is going to be all about price action. It's a good thing, okay? We don't really have to talk about data every day. It's just going to be about levels. It's going to be about charts. It's going to be about the stuff that really makes us money, okay? Today's session, nothing. Tomorrow's session, Tuesday, we do have some data at 11 o'clock. Consumer credit at 3 p.m. Wednesday session, we have FOMC minutes. That's probably the biggest data release of the week is Wednesday session. Now, something that's not here on the calendar, on the economic calendar on Wednesday session, okay? This is more important than any data we have this week. What matters on Wednesday is the fact that we have the tariffs, the tariff resolution date is June 9th, okay? This is the most important day this week is Wednesday because it is a day that all tariffs must be resolved, otherwise they will be in effect, okay? So that's the big day this week is June 9th, okay? It's not Tuesday, it's not Thursday, it's not Friday, it's June 9th, it's Wednesday. Be careful of that, of course, obviously because also it's multiplied by the fact that we have our FOMC minutes that day as well, okay? So big day Wednesday, Thursday we'll talk about it, Friday we'll talk about it. That's not what matters, that's not why you guys are here today. Let's talk about the big thing. Before that, actually, one thing, earnings reports, Thursday session, Delta. Let's just close out of this, it's embarrassing. This that I'm going to show you guys right now, I want to spend 10 seconds on this. I promise very quick. These are the winners from the giveaway. I posted this on my story. Nobody has reached out to me yet. I have not paid a single person. I feel like I am a scammer right now because I have not paid a single person. You guys, if you are any of these names, Xavier Logan, Kwame, Stone Chaser, Arlen King, Carolina Blue, Salsa 4177, Love Fam Heritage, or Vernon Speller, you guys all won the giveaway. You guys each get $100 each for the month of July. I'm doing this again in August, so if you guys are mad that you don't see your name, it's going to happen again in August. But you guys are the winners. I'm assuming some of you guys are probably here in the chat right now. You must reach out to me on Instagram if you guys can. On Instagram. So Emmanuel Castro says Salsa 4177. That's me. I don't see anybody in the chat that won. I know Kwame won. I saw Kwame here in the chat earlier this morning. But yeah, if we don't win, if we have people who don't claim the winning, we're gonna have to do a redraw. Kwame's there. Kwame's in the chat. We have a first winner. Kwame, send me a chat on YouTube or send me a chat on Instagram. Either one, whichever is best for you. Anyway, you guys know it already. I don't want to spend time on this. We'll deal with that all after hours. Let's talk about charts. Let's dive into it. So this is what matters today. This is why everyone's here, right? Is SPY. Okay, so SPY. What's going on? First of all, what we must do, because it's Monday, we're going to do a larger time frame analysis here. Okay, we're going to discuss larger time frame, what's going on here on the S&P. In terms of a larger time frame analysis here, and we're going to just reset all my drawings for a second. We're going to go to bare bones right now. Bare bones here for a second. Here on the 1 hour time frame, you can see the market is very clearly uptrending. Okay. We had a previous all-time highs here around 613 in the market. You can see 613 was a very big level. 613, 613, 613. We've ripped higher above 613. And by all means, we are in what we consider a price discovery mode. Okay, the SPY, yes, are in PDM moves, price discovery mode moves. The biggest level, and this is the most important thing you guys must understand, is we must understand things from a macro view, because that's our larger time frame view. And we also must understand things from a smaller time frame view. From a macro view, the most critical level to talk about moving forward is going to be 613 on the S&P. Okay, the reason why is because it is the previous all-time highs, which was a major level of resistance right before the Liberation Day annihilation, right? A Liberation Day annihilation, big downside in the market. We've rebounced and moved all the way up to those previous all-time highs. We broke all-time highs, and now what we must be looking for from a larger time frame macro perspective is a pullback those previous highs, 613 for a long entry. Okay, that's the macro view. The macro view is we are daily bullish. On the daily time frame, we are bullish as long as we are above 613. So one of the most logical pullback longs, the highest conviction pullback long, is look for longs at 613. Okay, that's the macro view. But if you are a day trader, which many of you guys are, and I am too, saying let's look for a 612, 613 bounce today is illogical and unlikely to happen, okay? The reason why is because it's so far away. So even though this is a valid long entry on larger time frames, it's just simply not valid today's session. What we must watch out for today's session is we must watch some of our smaller levels here. And the smaller levels I'm going to talk about are all discovered in the 1 hour and 15-minute time frame. The first thing is understanding that we are in a very, very aggressive uptrend, okay? This uptrend has presented few opportunities for pullback longs. You can see it has presented long opportunities here back in late June, back again on also late June, back in early July. And then on Thursday session, it presented very little opportunity, just sort of grinded higher, pushing new all-time highs at a new all-time high level of this level right in front of us, 526.2. And this is the all-time high here in SPY. So what must we watch out for today's session? Well, the big thing to understand is, first of all, the major daily level is down below here. Okay, the major daily level is down below here between 612 and 615. Okay, that's the big macro daily level that we have down below. So what we'll do is we'll write that down so we know that. We'll just write daily macro demand, and it really is 612 is that macro demand. So we know that that's where it is. Let's not forget about that. But in a shorter time frame analysis, we are bullish right now on the hourly as long as we are above Wednesday's highs and the breakout level from last week. Okay, so the last week level that we had was simply this. You can see here in the 2-minute time frame, you saw 619, 619, 619. Breakout followed through on Wednesday's session, and we produced a high Wednesday's highs at 620.5. If I'm watching SPY today, I'm looking for this. I don't really want to be a long buyer right now at highs. Let's just understand that. Let's just agree that this market is overheated. Yes, it still may continue to go higher, but I would only look for long entries if this happened today. We pull back to my Wednesday high demand zone or my breakout level for long-based entries, or if we did a break and hold above the 626 level, which I think is unlikely, but again, could happen, and that would be a new PDM move, a new all-time high trade. So watching this today is going to be a break and hold above 626.2 for long-based entries, or looking for longs back at Wednesday's highs, 620.5 or 619 for a long entry. Now here's what happens. If you are a bear in this market, you've been getting absolutely annihilated. But I think now is the time where we can begin to start coming up with bear ideas, because the market's so overheated and has met the long-based moves. Remember I said for a long time, remember I said this for a while, and you guys can attest to this. We said market's going to push a new all-time high. When SPY was at 600, we were saying SPY was going to push an all-time high probably in the next 2 weeks, right? We said it was going to tap all-time highs and probably break it. Now I'm thinking that we do need to pull back, and this is the most logical scenario. This has to happen at some point. There's no question it will happen. The question is just when. Probably within the next 2 weeks, we're going to pull back to at least 615. Okay, it's what's going to happen. We have to pull back. So if you're looking for bear side moves, you could look for a breakdown today. But the only breakdown that I would be interested in is if we got back under the breakout level. Okay, this would be your bear side move today, back under our breakout level for a move lower back into demand. We could trade puts. I know the market's been moving higher, but the market we can trade short, especially if you lose under 619 or if we did this. If we break and fail back under all-time highs, this would be another short-based entry. So again, shorts back here and shorts are there. Right now, bulls are still intact, but we must have these understandings moving forward on the SPY, okay? So big demand zone here, big demand zone there, watching for demand pullbacks. On the ES chart, we're gonna go faster in ES because we've already done it on SPY. On the ES chart, the Wednesday high level is 6280. The breakout level is 6250. So if I'm watching for longs today in the market, I'm looking for longs either back at demand here, Wednesday's highs, or I'm looking for longs back here at the breakout level at 6250. Okay, 6250, big demand zone, or 6280, big demand zone. Demand zone 1, demand zone 2, those are the big levels to watch out for today's session. And obviously, of course, you guys know the previous all-time highs on the ES chart is 63.33, right? A little bit of a tongue twister there, 63.33, okay? That's the big level to watch out for today's session in terms of all-time highs. Demand below 6280, demand below 6250. I am only interested in going short this market if we do this. If we fail below the breakout level, in which case that's where we can look for some shorts, a break of structure, a break of uptrend. We can look for shorts there under 6250. Or we could do this, a break and failure, or some sort of resistance play here, a rejection play back at all-time highs. Those are the only short things I'd be looking for today's session. Right now, obviously, market's mostly bull-sided. It is all bull-sided, okay? It's all bull-sided. The only thing that's not bull-sided is probably Tesla, okay? And we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, demand below, watch for longs here. Demand below, watch for longs there. This is the breakout level and the and the consolidation high. This 6250 level, guys, on the ES chart, just so people understand, is the equivalent of our SPY level. Remember our SPY 619 level? This is the most important level on the market, 619, the breakout level. You can see the highs of Monday, the highs of Tuesday, the highs of that Wednesday before the breakout. This level here in 619 is the equivalent of our ES demand zone here at 6256. Okay, that's the big breakout level. So if you're looking for any logical long spot today, it's there, right? It's simply where it is. If the market just aggressively sells off today, right under Wednesday's highs, presents a short opportunity there, and then pulls back the demand, this is still a major demand zone here. Don't be short back into this level. This is going to be a very, very big level going forward today's session. Okay. Yes. So I'm already seeing, guys, the winners in the chat are there. I see Love Family Heritage in the chat. I see Salsa. If you guys can find a way to message me on YouTube. If not, then do it on Instagram if you can, and just send me proof of your YouTube channel. Just like send me a screenshot of your name just so I can see it. Anyway, so moving on. That's the ES level. That's the SPY level. We all understand this. I hope you guys understand why we're spending more time on this today than usual. It's Monday. We must understand these levels from a larger time frame and then go to smaller time frames after that. So on the QQQ chart, it's very simple here, guys, in Qs, right? The major hourly pivot is simply 550, okay? It's 550. If we are above 550, we're bullish as hell. If we are below 550, we're bearish. Very simply. The market is structuring higher. The market's very bullish. The market has been in a very beautiful hourly uptrend, but it is super overheated, okay? This is a chicken that we've just cooked, and the chicken right now is 200 degrees, okay? We gotta pull it out of the oven now. It's gotta be pulled out of the oven. It's way too hot. Why is it way too hot? Because the market has made the extension moves higher over all-time highs in a way that reached targets. We've already reached all these targets, so it's logical for us to pull back the demand now. Where's the demand pullback here in Qs? I would argue we probably pull back to 550. Okay, 550 is where we pull back today. I would hope we pull back today. It's a good long spot. If we lose 550, then we move lower back into 544. Okay, so the major hourly pivot, as you guys are aware of, right in front of us, is 550. We do have a demand though here though. The demand that I want to talk about today on the QQQ level or chart is this June high. So you can see over here, Monday, June 30th, we produced a high here at 552.5. If you are a scalper on the Qs and you want to get aggressive looking for shorts today, there is a potential trade here. And I know this is a little bit aggressive, and I haven't been one to talk about shorts in a while. I've been mostly talking about long-based entries in the market for the past month. But I would say you can look for this today. If you see us fail under our June high, you could look for a scalper move back into that 550 level. Okay, and this is going to be a quick trade. It's not going to be a trade that you can hold for eternity, right? But it is something you can hold and look for a move back down into our major hourly pivot, which is 550. Again, usually I wouldn't say let's scalp puts back into a major demand, but there is enough meat in the bone here. The reason why I say that is because you can see there is mostly just a gap fill between 550 and 552.50. So for me, this would be a very easy low volume node to trade in between. Under this 552.50, look for puts back into 550. If you lose 550, that's where real downside comes in the market. Okay, and this would be a structure break in the market. A structure break. We're going to acronym that. We're going to call it an SB. This would be an SB, a structure break under 550. That would be your real bear side play today if you do break under 550. So again, market's overheated. Expect pullbacks in the market. But the one thing you must understand too is, even though we are expecting pullbacks in the market, you must still expect there to be reactions off demand zones. So I would still expect 550 to hold off the first test. So even though I'm saying look for puts under 550, I would still expect 550 to hold, right? As of right now, it's still big demand zone below, and I would continue to respect that as demand, because if it doesn't break, it's going to do this, right? So again, use these as your key levels today's session. 550, our major hourly pivot, 550, 250, which is our June highs, and then our all-time highs here at 557, okay? That's what we have here on the QQQ chart. Moving on, and I'm going to correlate some of these levels here over to my chart here on NQ. On the NQ chart, you can see that the levels I have here at NQ are pretty simple. The level that I'm adjusting to now is the all-time highs here, 23,100. You can see that my major hourly pivot here is at 22,820. Below 22,820, we have these lows here at 22,600. So nothing crazy here at NQ. This is pretty much a replica of Qs. You have your big level here, which was that 22,820. This 22,000.8 level would correlate to around that SPY. It actually would correlate to around SPY 550. So that's the big level to watch for in NQ, is simply just that 22,008 level here on NQ. Okay, so that's your big level of demand below right here. I'll make it in red so you guys can understand it. If we break below this level, we would technically be getting an SB, a structure break, in which case we can look for a move down lower. But as of right now, market's holding demand. As long as you're above this level, we are technically holding bullish and looking for longs back into highs here. So again, I want you guys to understand that by all means we are bullish, right? And I'm not trying to put any bearish thoughts in your head, because again, the market is still structurally bullish. I just want you to see what would change the market from being bullish to bearish, or from bearish to bullish, right? And in this case right now, we are bullish. If we lose 22,820, we would be structurally bearish, in which case we can look for a move back down into 22,600. Okay, so again, kind of repeating myself a lot here today. The levels are pretty simple here. Big level demand below on NQ, big level demand below here on Qs, 550. On the S&P chart, the level is simply just 619, 619. Okay, these are the big levels to watch out for going into our Monday morning session. Moving on, I am going to now discuss some levels here on other charts. The first chart I want to discuss today is Tesla. So Tesla has been an interesting chart. There's been a lot of headlines on Tesla over this weekend. One of the big ones on Tesla has been, first of all, Elon Musk's affiliation with a new political party called the American Party. I think it's called American Party. Don't quote me on this one. Again, that's not really what's causing the downside here on Tesla. What's causing the downside here on Tesla is within the big beautiful bill, there is a cutting of one particular thing that Tesla has been relying on for so many months. You guys probably know what it is, right? You guys can probably say it in the chat. What is it? What am I talking about right now? It is the EV credit. Yep, it is EV credit. Okay, it's EV credit. People are already saying it. It's the EV credit is winding down. Now, how is that going to impact demand on Tesla? Time will tell. But right now, market does not like it. Okay, market does not like it, and market has sold us off back into demand. Let's not get so caught up in news though. Okay, let's focus on technicals here on Tesla. Where is the big demand below here on Tesla? The big demand below is where we are at right now. If I do a full reset on this chart and I look at where the major demand is here on Tesla, you're going to see the major demand below is at 270. That's where the big demand below is at 270. 270 is your colossal level, okay? Where is your other demand though? The other demand is right at 290. Okay, so 290 is your big technical demand. Under 290, we have room back into 270. We know we have a recent swing high here at 367, 368, and we have the daily 200 SMA here at 313. In my opinion, these are the big levels on Tesla, right? Nothing crazy, nothing insane. I don't have any of those small 5-minute levels here. I have all the macro levels here charted out in front of us. And I think it's important when you're trading around all these big news and around a lot of big volatility, we just trade around our big levels. The level that we must talk about today's session is 290 on Tesla. If we lose 290 in Tesla, we're moving to 270. That's just what it is, okay? If you lose 290, we should move back into 270. That being said, we cannot short back into 290. If we short back into 290, you're doing the same thing that happened right over here. Ask yourself right now, what happened the last time people shorted back into 290? They got smacked in the face with an oversized textbook. Okay, you do not want to get fast. You do not want to get smacked in the face with a textbook today. Do not short back into 290. If you're looking for shorts today, the short opportunity is going to be either under 290, in which case 270 is the target. Why is 270 the target? 270 is the target because if you go to the 15-minute time frame, you can see, wow, last time we lost 290, we saw a very low volume move back into 270. So you should see about a $20 downside move under 290. If the market holds 290 today, which could be a possibility, where does this go to? Well, first of all, we have supply here at 300, okay? There is a small 5-minute supply here at 300. Again, I said I wouldn't show you guys small levels and kind of backtracking a little bit here, but this is a small level I would consider adding to your chart today. 300 as a technical level. And you may have it as a little dash line or dotted line, so it's not as critical as other levels. But I would argue here that if we move above 300 today, if we hold demand here at 300, right, and we rip above, if we hold demand at 290 and we rip above 300, we're probably going to gap fill back in 313, okay? And we would brush off all the news today and just rally higher from a technical standpoint back into resistance here, back at 313, which again would be major resistance, and we could look for shorts there. So this is what I would say, guys. If we hold above 300 here in Tesla, you could look for longs. If you hold under 290 in Tesla, you can look for shorts. That's it. That's simply what it is here in Tesla. If you move back into 313 today, though, this is a very logical short spot, and I would go short there as well. So again, a lot of ideas here. 313 rejections off the daily 200 SMA. That's a big resistance point. You could look for longs above that 300 level for the gap fill play back into 313, which is our resistance. Or you can look for puts and shorts back under 290. That's all it is here in Tesla. A little bit of a complicated chart, but we have volatility, and we can trade it off the levels that we have in front of us. Okay. Moving on, the next chart of the day is going to be Amazon. So I know many of you guys do not like Amazon, but Amazon is one of the strongest names this morning. I traded Amazon on Thursday session, not Friday. Market was closed on Friday. I traded it on Thursday session. I traded just the very traditional break and retest. I went long back in demand right here at this candle. Got upside trade, and stopped out of runners in the break of trend here as it broke down under my level. This was a surgical trade on Amazon, but again, people hate Amazon for many reasons. One of the reasons why people hate Amazon is because when you get your break and retests, break, retest, long spot entry, it tends to move back into highs, but it doesn't really break it, right? It tends to just kind of fail off that level and doesn't really seem to give you much continuation. That being said, still was a nice chart on Thursday session. Right? We still made money on Thursday. We still held our levels, and that for me is still valid. That's why I still like this chart, even though it doesn't take me all the way to the moon. It still takes me to the stratosphere. Okay, it still takes me a little bit. It gives me a little bit of money. Okay. What I'd be watching out for today's session in Amazon is I would watch to see if we can build above 225. Very simply, nothing crazy here in Amazon. Amazon's the strongest chart in the market. It's the strongest one that we have this morning. And if we can clear above 225, we have some upside momentum, right? And where is the upside momentum into? Well, upside momentum is back into, which again, this is a level here from back into the highs of June, right? This is the high of June is that 225 level, right? And if we break that 225 level, which is the high of June, we should move higher back into these highs here at 228.8. And where is that 228.8 coming from? It's the major resistance right before that big downside move. Okay, so watching to see if this can clear out these double top highs. If Amazon can clear out these double top highs, this is the nice chart to look for. Okay, watching Amazon, let's give it some opportunity today. Okay, moving on, Apple. On the Apple chart, Apple also is a name that I would watch for longs. Guys, there's going to be a theme that I talk about moving forward. Some names that I would not trade for longs are names that are already at all-time highs, right? And like one of the reasons why I've been straying away from NVDA recently is because NVDA has already cleared all-time highs. Apple has not cleared all-time highs. Apple has a really strong chart here, and we can watch for Apple longs above 214, right? You can see here, right in front of us, not disputable. You can see it. Look how clear this level is, guys. 214, 214, 214, 214. Why is that arrow in the middle of nowhere? I don't know. Let's move it here. 214, 214, 214. Okay, you can see right now we have produced very clear rejections here at 214. This chart is either going to do this. It's going to either break out above 214 and it's going to be beautiful. We're going to love it, and it's going to continue back into 220 plus, or it's going to very horribly reject here at this 220 or 214 level, and it's going to fade back lower. The only scenario that I'm interested in is the break and hold above 214, because if this clears 214, we should see them move back into these highs here at 223. So watching today's session is the break and hold above 214, break, retest, long entry here at 214 for upside back into 222 plus, okay, or back into 220 plus here on Apple. So watching that today as one of my main top watches, okay. Moving on, NVIDIA is producing an all-time high here at 159. Remember, NVIDIA, guys, this is my baby, okay. I love NVIDIA, but like I said before, I would want this to pull back. I do want this to pull back. I want it to go back lower. Why? Because I want to get more equity at lower prices. I've already sold a lot of my shares. I've sold out a lot of my position in the break and hold above 160. I'm done here. I'm mostly done. I still have exposure. I always will have exposure in good companies. This is the thing, though. Just because I say I'm selling NVIDIA, it doesn't mean I'm selling all my shares, right? I still will have a very large position in NVIDIA. It's just going to be a lot lower than when it was initially, okay? NVIDIA is still bullish. NVIDIA still probably goes to 200 plus the next 5 years. But in the short term, meaning between the next 3 to 6 months, I do think that pullbacks are necessary, okay? Because pullbacks are necessary in any uptrend. So watching to see can this pull back, the main pullback level I'll be watching for on NVIDIA moving forward is here. It's in this green box. It's over here. This is where I want this to pull back to. At some point in time, this is where this chart must pull back to. In the short term, however, if you're trading this, right, you could look for either longs back above 159, right, for long base entries, or you could look for longs back at 153 for long base entries. Longs here or longs there. That's what I'd watch going forward here in NVIDIA's chart. Okay, sexy chart, right? By all means, still bullish, but again, just kind of explaining my mindset, my headspace on some of these names. Again, don't like, if you own like 10 shares of NVIDIA, okay, and let's just say it's like 5 to 10% of your portfolio. Don't say, well, Brett said sell NVIDIA, I'm going to sell NVIDIA too because he said sell it and I'm out of my all 10 shares, right? Don't do that, right? You have to start thinking, the way, you think like a fund, okay? A fund is never going to full sell their positions like that, right? If they're green on a position, they're going to sell probably 50 to 80% of it and trail the rest. Be smart about it. Don't sell NVIDIA full. But I am saying it is logical to take some off if you are very green on your equity. Okay, that's all I'm saying here. AMD 138. Okay, 138 is your big level moving forward today. We are bearish under 138. We are bullish above 138. That's all it is, guys, in AMD today, right? And for me, I can trade this, right? I can trade off this level today. We can look for puts here at 138 if we see us fail. We can look for a move back at 133. If we break out today above 138, we can look for longs back at 142. That's all it is here on AMD, guys. Simply just using 138 as pivot, okay? Very simple. Guys, Meta, I want to go over some tickers that I didn't go over. I want to do some speed round stuff. Yes, I know we're going slow. 720 in Meta, big resistance. 705, big demand. That's all it is here on Meta, guys, right? PLTR. On the PLTR chart, you can see that we're kind of just consolidating after failing below a big supply and holding above a big demand. So you big supply above, big demand below. The question becomes which side wins. To be honest with you right now, I don't know. I really don't know. There was a moment in time where I knew if we broke 140, we would see 125. I knew if we tap 125, we would hold. Right now, I just don't know what's going to happen here in PLTR. I think I want to hold off my analysis here in PLTR because we need more data. We need to see what happens here, right? If it can clear back above 140, okay, big upside, right? That's where more upside comes in the market. We probably push a new all-time high plus. If we fail back below 125, 126, big downside the market, we likely fail back lower. Again, PLTR is kind of in a no man's land right now. Between 140 and 125 is a no man's land. I would stay away from it with that channel being in question right now, okay? MSTR, yes, MSTR. On the MSTR chart, MSTR is probably just tracking Bitcoin, guys, right? MSTR is basically just leveraged Bitcoin. Bitcoin is doing nothing, right? Bitcoin, unfortunately, is just doing nothing, but actually more than just nothing. It actually is doing something, right? This is doing something. We have a previous all-time highs here at 108, right? 108 and change. We have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bull flag setting up here on Bitcoin. Actually, this is quite interesting, right? I will be interested to see what Bitcoin does with this bull flag. We have to hold, in my opinion, we have to hold this. We would have to hold this level here. These previous highs here, 107 to 108, for this to be considered a bull flag break. But this could be a really nice bull flag break, in which case we can look for longs in MSTR. On MSTR, you can see a very similar chart here in MSTR. You can see the bull flag is very much so the case. You can see bull flag, right? But it's at the top of the bull flag. It hasn't really broken out yet, right? This hasn't really broken out yet. I think it's waiting for Bitcoin to do it. But I would say if this can clear above 425, that's where the real bull flag trade comes in, right? So look to see, can this clear 425? If it can clear 425, this probably goes back into all-time highs here, 550s. So watch that, right? This could be a nice chart to watch out for. Yeah, I know. Look, I know people that are bear Bitcoin are not going to like that, but I'm just going over charts, right? I'm just saying it, right? This is the chart in front of us. We're flagging over all-time highs. Let's see what happens here. Did I say meta? Did I say meta when I was going over MSTR? Yeah, guys, I think that's it. Let's end it here. It's 9:09. We're already late. We are already late. Thank you all for joining in. Much appreciated, everybody. This is awesome. It's been a great stream. It's Monday morning. It's after a 3-day weekend. Let's get back into it, right? The goal of Monday session is to be a data collector. It's all you are on Monday. Don't be anything else besides that. You can execute. We're going to execute today. I'm going to execute today. We should execute today, but we must be data collectors off the open. Give it some time today, right? Monday morning, especially after the 3-day weekend, crazy headlines all weekend, major holiday on Friday session. Let's take it easy today. Let's be data collectors. Let's execute when trade set up. Let's have a good week. Guys, thank you all for joining in, and I'll see you all for live trading. Bye, guys.